Hello and welcome to the video. Today I'll be talking about brown fat activation. Now, what exactly is brown fat? Brown fat is a tissue inside our bodies which metabolizes white fat and uses that energy to generate heat. So my technique specifically is a combination of the Wim Hof brown fat activation and some breathing from Pranayama, and it includes the bandha locks. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but basically contracting 3 areas of your body, including the root chakra, abdomen, and your throat or your chin. A combination of these 2 techniques combined, this is what I found has helped me the most and allowed me to actually consistently, consciously activate my brown fat. It's taken me around a year of doing the Wim Hof method to get consistent at activating my brown fat. Came across the bandhas in yoga and actually combined them with some of the breathing that I do, that I actually found it was creating heat, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to learn how to do brown fat activation from this. I'll go through the actual technique in a second. First off, make sure you're not doing this in cold water because you can faint. In a way, it's very similar to the DMT breath and make yourself faint. Okay, so I will explain the technique as one whole and then isolate the 3 individual parts so that you can get a more thorough understanding of how to do it more accurately and sequentially. So basically it involves 1 breath fully in, and then on top of that breath you're holding. The process of contracting certain muscles as you breathe in is part of the method, and then after you've breathed in, the process of relaxing and contracting other muscles is part of the process. So that's probably the 2 parts, the in breath and then at the top of the breath the hold. First of all, I like to breathe in and out 3 times to clear the lungs, get fresh air in there and make sure your body is working a little bit fluently. So I'll do 3 breaths now. Quickly, you can do 3 breaths as well if you like. Okay, so the actual technique. Now the first part is called Mula Bandha, or it's known as the root chakra, the root lock. This is the one that allows you to draw the energy up through your body and retain it there at the end so that the heat can then be created. As you breathe in, you want to contract the root chakra, which is your perineal muscles. You want to contract that muscle up so that with the oxygen you're bringing the energy up. Within the in-breath, it starts at the base, at the root chakra, which is basically your perineal muscle, and you want to contract that as you start to breathe in. So you contract it upwards. Imagine you're drawing the energy upwards as you're breathing in the oxygen. So it's, that muscle contracting. Now once you get to around a third of your breath, if you imagine, let's say, a line at the level of your base, perineal muscle, as you breathe in and as you contract that muscle up, imagine as the line's moving up at the speed that you contract that muscle. So that line moves up, and once it gets to around here, top of your abdomen, your upper abdomen, you want to contract this muscle in slightly, like this, so that you're also continuing to draw that energy up towards your pecs and your lungs. Okay? And so initially though, before that line reaches this mark, you actually want to make sure you're breathing through your stomach. Now you don't need to push your stomach out really far and feel your stomach up massive. It's just, you don't want to actually expand, move your shoulders up or expand your chest in that first part of the breath. So whilst you're contracting that perineal muscle up in the first part of the breath, move the tummy out. Once you can't really breathe through in your tummy without forcing it bigger, because you just it needs to be relaxing the breath. Then you can open up your chest and breathe in towards your chest. And as this happens, you don't need to keep your tummy pushed out anymore. You can actually allow your tummy to come back in, and as the air comes up, you can even draw your tummy up and in slightly, yeah? Drawing that energy up as well, whilst you're always maintaining your upward contraction of your perineal muscles. That's important. So the first stage of the breath, contracting the perineal muscles up, breathing into the stomach, not forcefully, just relaxing. Once the stomach fills up in a relaxed amount, then you can open up the chest, start breathing into the chest and bringing that energy up here with your abdomen. So it's like this. Yeah, that first part. So see how initially my tummy just moved out to there, then there. That's 1/3, 1/3. So they're the first two parts here. Now, once you get that full all oxygen inside your lungs and up to through expanding your chest, you're at the top of your breath. Yeah, your shoulders might even rise a little bit, which is not bad. Now, you don't want to imagine the oxygen going into your head like you would normally doing the Wim Hof, because you want to keep the oxygen compressed into your lungs so that this is where the heat's going to be created, and this is where the energy is needed. So at the top of your breath, your lungs are expanded, like that. Your tummy is just pretty flat, but it's not pushed out, it's not sucked in, it's just, you might be maintaining a little bit of pressure up this area near your diaphragm to keep that energy going up, and maintaining that perineal muscle is still contracted upwards. So anyway, you're at the top of your breath, and then what happens is you want to drop your shoulders and tilt your neck forward, and then drop your lungs. And what that means is, when I say drop your lungs, is you might have heard the term packing, which is when you get a full breath of air in your lungs, and then it's quite full, and it's not 100% full, as much as you can get, and then you just sort of relax them. So you're dropping your shoulders, and you're also dropping your lungs and your diaphragm and your belly. And so your belly might actually here, it will actually sag out slightly, or just relax out. And whilst the important thing here is, whilst your belly comes out slightly, relaxes back out, you don't want to let that perineal muscle relax. That's really important, okay? You need to keep that contracted, because that's going to keep the energy locked in. Yeah, once you let that go, then you let the tension go, and your compression's not happening, the energy's lost. Once again, it's the breathing in through the perineal, through your belly, then once you need, into your chest, using the belly upwards through the top of your breath. Your lungs are completely full, expand like this, drop your shoulders and move your head forward, and let your lungs sit down. And when your lungs sit down, your shoulders might even drop a little bit more. Yeah, I think it's important that you move your neck forward like this before you drop your lungs, because this is locking the energy in this part. Yeah, it's going to stop it from racing to your head. Like that. And so basically, when I said earlier that we contract the throat, we don't actually suck the throat in. The contraction, or it's called the throat lock, is literally just moving your chin towards your collarbone, in the middle of your collarbone, towards your chest. It doesn't matter if you don't touch it, that's fine. You just want to move it down so you can feel a bit of tension in those muscles, locking in the energy. Yeah? And so after you've moved your throat down, you've dropped your lungs and you've dropped your shoulders, and you sit there for a few seconds, and then you can actually re-swivel your head back up, but keeping the pressure down, locked here. Yeah. So you're not just relaxed your head and your shoulders. You actually see the difference. Doing that, you're keeping it down like that. At the top of your breath, your neck's down here. Your belly's relaxing out. Your perineal muscles still in. And you lift your head up slightly, and you make sure you keep your shoulders right back at this stage then, and then your shoulders can even come back right further, so you imagine you're sitting really straight, and your neck's contracted here. You don't actually lift your chin up at all, ever. You still keep it slightly down, but it doesn't need to be like here, like it does in the first stage. Okay, so basically, the breathing combines with initially the root lock, or the root lock pervades the whole breath. The root lock, then the drawing, continuing to draw the energy up with your abdomen into your chest, and then comes the throat lock, which you move your head down. So that's the third block. Then you can relax your shoulders and your tummy out, maintaining that root lock. Yeah. So now the thing is, you've got this lock on and you've got your root lock on, but your tummy lock is no longer on. Yeah, your abdomen lock is not contracting it anymore. So that actually allows energy to be kept in a nice compact state right in here where you want it. And the thing is, the important thing is to feel your lungs actually drop down a bit, to feel that you've got enough oxygen in there, that you've packed your lungs full, and that you can just drop them like that. Okay, so basically, just quickly in summary, you've got your root lock, drawing energy up into your belly first, pushing it out slightly. Don't push it out too hard. Then once you get to that, past that belly stage, into the chest, drawing it up through here, you pack your full chest, your shoulders come up slightly, and then let your shoulders sit a little bit. Draw your head forward, drop your lungs. Yep, hold it there for a bit, and you drop your shoulders as well. Hold it there, then you let your neck come back up, still keeping your chin down, but your neck's up. And then that's when you make sure your shoulders are back as well, and make sure your lungs are still dropped, make sure your shoulders are still dropped, so that the contractions are happening in the right spot. And you've got a full breath, and then you hold that breath for about 10 seconds, up to 15, and then you let it go. Like that, yeah? Now you might get dizzy, as I've said, you might faint. It's okay if you're doing it in a safe space, like not in the water. Now we'll add one thing. At the very end of the breath, before you let go, I do like to contract my pecs. And imagine that as you bring your head up and pull your shoulders back, hold it there, and then you can actually pull your shoulders down a bit more and contract your pecs in. And that's probably the only real muscular contractions that I forcefully do. Obviously as well as just moving the head down, but yeah, that contraction of the pecs actually allows the heat to come in here as well. And often I find I get quite hot along here. Now the thing is, you want the heat to go down, not up to your head. And that's where the minor changes in doing this to then going here and relaxing your shoulders and your lungs downwards actually helps get the energy back from up initially to back compressing down. Yeah, you're using gravity to help you drive that energy down. Compressing here, not going up through your head and going loopy and fainting. You will still get your head getting hotter, and you'll feel it because the blood flow goes up there. But you want to make sure you're getting a lot of heat through here where your brown fat is. You might also feel some extending down your back as well because you've got brown fat there. Anyway, that's the technique, so I hope you find this useful. And before I end the video, I'm just going to actually do the method once quickly, and you can follow along if you like. Okay, lungs are cleared, and now let's do it. Did you feel some warmth through here, through your head as well a little bit, but if we can get it through here and you're feeling hot down here, that's the main idea. Okay, so I hope you thought this method was helpful. I hope it gives you the ability to activate your brown fat. Practice it a little bit,
And don't be afraid to, critique it yourself. Find what works for you, because there will all be slight individual variations. Anyway, I'll see you next video. Thank you.